This episode is brought to you by Mate Affiliates. If you're in the game for the long run, two things really matter: what you earn and who's in your corner. Big commissions are great, sure, but they don't mean much without support. Mate delivers both. Find an affiliate program that's serious about your growth and shows up when it counts. Find that out at mateaffiliates.com.
Some of our most loyal customers were the people that came in initially on a really big complaint. And then they knew that if things went wrong, it would get sorted. And I think if you can build a business based on that, then you're in a very good shape.
You're listening to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast, powered by Affiverse, ultimate destination for affiliate program news, insights, growth opportunities, partnerships, and affiliate program strategy. Whether you're an advertiser, publisher, platform partner, agency, or entrepreneur, we've got the tools, trends, thought leaders invited here to help you to thrive in the fast-changing digital economy. What if the biggest lever in affiliate marketing isn't more traffic, bigger bonuses, or signing up another flashy network, but the trust and transparency that you build into every single partnership? In this episode, we go inside the evolving world of affiliate relationships with Richard Dennis, the CEO of Game Lounge, who's leading the charge on what really drives long-term growth, community, data ownership, and micro moments of trust. From why successful affiliate programs feel like communities, not just revenue channels, to how Game Lounge's Trust and Data Transparency Index is forcing the industry to raise its standards, Richard shares a roadmap for sustainable partnerships. We dive into why real trust is built in the tough moments, the hidden power of data-driven decision-making, and how a simple 4-day summer workweek doubled productivity, all without sacrificing output in his business. Richard also leaves us with 3 essential takeaways for affiliate program managers: know your numbers and the why behind them, play the long game, and keep scanning the second horizon, because tomorrow's business will look nothing like it does today. So if you're tired of chasing short-term wins, this episode is your guide to building partnerships that last. Welcome to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast, and joining me today is none other than CEO of Game Lounge, Richard Dennis. Richard, it is a pleasure to have you on this podcast. I think you're one of the few people in the world that have had a second invite to this podcast, so consider yourself very privileged, and I am as well, to have you here. It's a pleasure to have you, so thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Leanne. Thanks very much. Always good to talk to you.
Yeah.
As we've done over the years. Yeah, no, great.
Absolutely. So for any of our listeners that don't know who Game Lounge is and don't know who Richard is, give us the quick backstory of your entry into affiliate marketing and how you landed up at Game Lounge.
I'll do it backwards. So Game Lounge is a iGaming affiliate website, content marketing website. Websites, we have 60, I think, that are live all around the world. We do pretty well. We do around between 15 and 20,000 new players a month that we refer to our operator partners, and about 160 people based across Malta, Spain, Sweden, and remotely. Yeah, it's been going 15 years, doing very well. I just saw some results from some of our competitors coming out, so it looks like we're shooting up the rankings in terms of performance. But yeah, we're competing with people like Better Collective and Rate Tech and Katina, gambling.com, those kinds of people. And we just do gaming, we don't do any sports. So that's what we are, we're a pure affiliate. And I've been working, I'm sure people have heard this before, but I've been working in affiliate for about 10 years. Before that, I had a long career in digital marketing, database marketing. I was CEO of a company called WebGains, which is an affiliate network. Lots of different 2,000 different clients and 250,000 affiliates we work with. And really my job is to motivate the motivators, is to try and keep everyone going in a business that's been going a long time and doesn't necessarily innovate very quickly. So the inspiration I try to provide is on the possibilities of what we call Horizon 2 as opposed to what's happening today, and try and get everyone focusing on what's coming down the tracks even further than that in Horizon 3. So there's lots going on right now.
And in all of that, you have to build successful partnerships in order to keep the business growing, which is what we're talking about today.
Yes.
Now, when we spoke, and I begged you to come on this podcast, you told me there were specific things that you wanted to talk about, one of which, and this is the first question that I'm going to get into. So if you thought you knew Richard, you don't know him well yet, because we're going to peel away the layers and we can talk about a lot of personal things. But you've been successfully building partnerships in the affiliate marketing industry for decades, okay? But one of the most successful partnerships that you've ever built is the one with your wife, which is almost 30 years of marriage, which to anybody that is married or not married, that is no mean feat. And what I wanted to do was start this podcast off going straight in there and asking you, what are some of the lessons that you've learned in building a successful partnership with your partner and your wife?
Yeah, interesting question. 30 years together, we've been married 26 years. Yeah, it comes down to all these things, which is trust. But before that, we were watching last night, funny enough, last night on TV here in the UK was Notting Hill, which when you watch it, it feels very dated. It feels like the production quality is very old, the sort of fashions and cars and everything else. It seems a really old film. And then we looked it up and what year was it made? And that was 1999, which is the year we got married. And it was like, oh my God, that was the world. That's what the world looked like when we got married.
Yeah.
And we were looking back at it thinking, yeah, of course. And people had terrible kitchens and rubbishy cars. And the life, the sort of consumer life was very difficult and different. And people in London look very different. London had really evolved. I was there yesterday and I had a really good day, but it's a pretty extreme place. But anyway, I've known my wife a long time and we've known each other since we were teenagers. Not that we've been together. Yeah. We were friends for a long time. We've got the same circle of friends that we're still in touch with. And also the thing is, I like change and she likes change too. So her mother is a very dynamic character. She had a very flamboyant lifestyle. My father's a musician. So we don't come from particularly conventional backgrounds where we've had the 9 to 5 forever and lived in the same place. And so we've had this journey together where we got married in London, moved to Bristol pretty quickly after that. And then since then I've lived in Italy and France and Spain and Germany for 4 years. And now we live in Malta. And she really likes that. She likes that change. She likes packing and unpacking and just nesting and unnesting, all those kind of things. And also our children who are now growing up, they're in their 20s. I've always been used to that. Even when our younger daughter was born, basically 3 weeks after that, we went to Italy and had an adventure there. So they've always known in their lives change. And we've tried and keep the stability around schooling, but that's not always been very possible. But as a result, they seem to be global citizens now. They seem to be pretty happy. And as the saying goes, you're only as happy as your saddest child. So we've always been very careful to build the structure on that. And again, it comes down to trust and ability to not be in each other's pockets, but at the same time, staying in touch and being tethered together. So there's no real mystery to it. It's just, I quite like her and she quite likes me. The third thing I was going to say was about constant communication.
Yeah.
Not going quiet, because that, again, in business, you've always got to be keeping going, keeping talking.
Because most people ask about building successful partnerships, the first thing that they are going to say is transparency and trust, which, as you know, is sometimes quite rare in the industry that we work in because there's, lots of different filters and reporting and tracking and everything else. Yeah. But what I liked about what you said was constant communication, because sometimes I feel like affiliate managers don't really know how much to communicate with affiliates. Sometimes they think they're over communicating and they're actually under communicating. They're not communicating enough. Yeah. But also the constant change. You spoke about the life cycle of the relationship. So how you were with your wife 30 years ago when you first met compared to how you are with her now, there's been a whole life that's been built in between. And I think we look at relationships sometimes very short term. So we don't actually, we start the relationship, we get the sale done, we get the contract signed, we get the campaign live, and then we stop building on that. And we just expect the affiliate to sit back and deliver. But for that delivery to happen.
It's definitely true. And the thing is, if you don't trust each other, the first thing you do when things start to break down is you try and separate. And you think, I'm going to get another relationship. I'm going to go somewhere else and do something else to someone else. That isn't necessarily the right thing to do, because things take a long time to build that trust up. I think if I wind back going back to industry, many years ago, you had the Google affiliate network, if you remember that, GAN.
Yeah.
And they kind of swung in. It's happening at the moment with OpenAI. They're saying, there's a new OpenAI affiliate thing. It's going to kill affiliate. Yeah. And you'd be as long as I have. It's about personal relationships. And the reason why Google pulled out, and I think they sold their business that became another business and then is now Partnerize. It didn't work because you had no humanity in it. There was no personal relationships. And maybe with AI and LLMs, you could get something towards that. But really, it's knowing and trusting people, because you're a publisher. You're giving away your inventory for free.
Yeah.
And the promise that other party is going to monetize it for you. Otherwise, pay us up front for advertising and you take the risk. We take the risk as an affiliate. All the risk is all us. Yeah. And therefore, the least you could do is be honest with us when you come back. And I had a conversation today where somebody hadn't paid us, and now they're paying us because they're saying, how come you're not working with us anymore? It's well, because we're not giving you paid us anymore.
Yeah. The thing is that sometimes affiliate managers also forget that affiliates are running businesses. Like, they're not just a site with traffic. There's people behind that site. There's costs associated to that site. They say, oh, listing fees. But who do you think is going to write that content? Like, who do you think actually comes up with the ideas? That is all partially. Sometimes people are using AI, but predominantly in order to rank and actually get traffic, you can't rely on AI.
I'm still getting my head around it, because obviously in the e-commerce, it's not really a thing. You might get some tendencies on some emails, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the other way around. I've also worked as a CMO, right? I've been my own businessman. I've had my own business, and I've been buying affiliate. I've been buying paid media and doing SEO. So I do understand it. And when you're on that side of things, it's all about the numbers. It's all about the ROI. It's all about literally player lifetime values, all those kinds of really good things. And affiliate is just one part of that. You've got a brand, you've got in-channel, out-channel, above the line, below the line. There's DR, there's all sorts of things. And affiliate just happens to be at one end of it. But listing fees, if I walk through a trade show, it's one of the reasons I stopped going to them.
Okay.
Because I've got my affiliate signing me, and I can't walk down the aisle with somebody stopping me. The demand for our traffic is massive. Right, so if we don't think that you're going to monetize that traffic, then why would we work with you? And the only way to get through that, especially at the moment, if you think about crypto and how many crypto casinos are out there trying to get traffic, because the upside's huge, they're prepared to pay whatever it takes to pay to get access to our audiences. You haven't done many of those deals, but we could. And therefore, that's one of the reasons why you have to use the fixed fees as some kind of filter and separator, because we're not going to do CPA and rev share deals with people we've never heard of before, or who aren't doing brand campaigns, or never pay, or don't give you any data. So we have got this slight luxury of choosing in some markets who we want to deal with.
That's quite an interesting concept there, because a lot of people in the gaming industry think money talks. If I just pay them more, they'll do it. But you've just categorically said that's not the structure that you use at Game Lounge. You have a very personal approach to the brands that you work with. You want to see that the brands are investing in their own business before you even take them on.
It has to be long term, because everything there, number one, are they going to treat our brand right? And are they going to work with they're not going to rip off our players.
Yeah.
We are an affiliate, right? We're not just there to do a listing. We're there to help and guide our players.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we do. So if they're burning our players, then the last thing we want to do is put them at the top of the list and just have to deal with all the shit that we get on the back of that. And then secondly, you've got to pay it, because a lot of casinos and operators like that do have cash flow issues, do understand it. There's all sorts of capital requirements, and there's payouts and all sorts of things. So there are limits on what we can and can't do. So therefore, you've got to manage your business properly in order to pay your suppliers and your traffic sources. And if you don't pay us, then we're not going to do it. It's just not going to do it.
From the horses. Okay, so I want to move on to something that is a pleasant pastime for you, because, as you say, you're not going to these events anymore. So this podcast is where people are going to get to know you a little bit better. You've just recently had a really nice boat that arrived in Malta. Is there something about being on the water that gives you clarity about making important business decisions, like leading the ship that is Game Lounge at the moment, and all of these assets and properties and everything else? There's a lot of decisions and moving parts that are happening in your business as you're growing it. What is it about being on your boat and out in the water that actually helps you to build those successful partnerships? Is it the kind of clarity of just being away from the office, or does the water actually feed your soul, your creativity? What is it?
Yeah, it's very gambling to talk about boats and things like that. I've had the boat a long time. I had the boat before I joined Game Lounge. We were living in Mallorca, and it's a boating life, so a lot of people have got boats, so we got a boat. And anyway, we moved to Malta, and it's stupid not having a boat in Malta when you got in New York. So
I've seen some of the LinkedIn posts. It just looks divine. I'm waiting for my invite.
Oh, you have an open invite. The thing about boating, and my dad had a boat. We used to live on a river, and I've been boating all my life. Probably, I think the first time I took that boat out was about 8 or 9. I was in the Sea Scouts. I'm just a complete accro obsessive. Yeah, I just love it. And I think the thing is, you're in control of a vehicle and you have the freedom. It's not as if you have to follow road signs or anything else. You just go wherever you want and whenever you want. And obviously you have to make sure the engines are right. And there's lots of different things you can do. It's got no brakes in it, so you have to plan ahead of where you're going to go. And you're anchoring, and do I anchor in the right place, the wrong place? Is there a rock down there? There's so many different variables, none of which is anything to do with affiliate marketing. Having a boat gives you an escape, and you're not sitting on a crowded beach, and you can go where you want, and you can have a nice gin and tonic or whatever you want, and plop in the sea at 7 o'clock on a Friday evening before the weekend, and it's just heavenly. Having said that, it is all about partnerships. I can't do it by myself. My wife's there, or somebody else in the boat, and they do the ropes, or they're doing food, or whatever it might be. And then when you get to a marina or anywhere, you need somebody to help you more. And then you have an engineer that helps you when things break, because every boat breaks all the time. You have to build trust relationships with those people, because at the end of the day, if somebody sees you've got a boat, they see pound notes or euro notes in their eyes, and it's a shark tank, most of these mariners, so they want to grab your money as much as you can. So you're building trusted relationships over many years. And even on advisories or buying and selling things, or where should I go to buy this? It's literally about that. And if you don't know that, you just get stung every time. Boat, they say boat stands for break open, not 1,000, because everything costs 1,000. And yeah, exactly. So everything that happens is just another 1,000, wherever it might be. So you do need to build those relationships, and you can't just whack a marina, stick music up and have a great time. It's about everybody around you and becoming part of the community. I've got very good friends now, probably for life, that I've met in boating in Mallorca, and then I'm meeting these people now in Malta. There's a convention in boating where you go past somebody and you wave to each other. And then my daughter said to me, is that because you're all very friendly? And it's not, it's a concession saying, I know you're a lot less rich than you could be if you didn't have a boat. It's a kind of fun thing. I know. Yeah, I know. God, yeah, I know. It's a brutally expensive pastime. So that's nice. And that camaraderie of the boating community is very nice. But again, it's like anything in your friends or work colleagues, you and I, we trust each other. We've worked with each other for a long time. Yeah, that's how business works. Yeah, boating is an indulgence and an escape, but it's also there's lots of things. And you find lots of CEOs or lots of business leaders are into boats because they like it. There's lots of things to look at. You're never bored. You're always anticipating the weather. It's a very similar kind of mental process to driving a boat than it is to running a business, which is a lonely pastime in itself.
Yeah, I can speak to that truth. It is very lonely, but it also requires community. And I think that's something that affiliate managers forget, is that affiliates in their program are actually their community. And when you start to think about them less as traffic suppliers or just partners that you are milking for FTDs, and you start to think about them as an extension of your own community, and like you said, an extension of their brand, because affiliates do care about what a brand does to their players, because their reputation is at stake with that player because they brought them in. Yeah. And I think there's an awareness that needs to happen around building community around your affiliate program, because it's not just about the 60% commission or whatever it is that you're offering. It's about all these added benefits. It's about who can I call when I have a problem? Can I trust the information that I'm being sent in the database or in the platform that I'm using? Is there a person that I can call when, the chips are down or something's gone wrong or something's broken with tracking? How quickly can I get it fixed? And all of these little small incremental things are the things that actually stack up and build a really successful partnership. It's not just about the relationship and whether you take somebody to the bar or whatever the case may be. There's all these little tiny micro steps that build that trust.
Yeah, it's usually, I had a travel business many years ago, and I remember the thing about travel is everybody's they've got an idea of where they want it to be, and then sometimes it doesn't happen and the hotel's not what you wanted, or something goes wrong. And anyway, the first sort of contact you usually get from somebody is yelling down the phone saying, this isn't good enough, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Because everyone just assumes that it's not going to get sorted, so therefore they rush in with a big rant.
Guns blazing.
Yes, exactly. And we did a lot of training around this. I remember we did month after month of training on this for the team. It's basically saying, listen, establish, act, react, and anything else. And it's number one, yes, I can hear you. Number two, I want to do something about it. Number three, I want to do something about it myself. And that's how you build the trust up. And some of our most loyal customers were the people that came in initially on a really big complaint, and then they knew that if things went wrong, it would get sorted. And I think if you can build a business based on that, then you're in a very good shape, because it's not about what happens when things are going right. It's what happens when things don't work out quite well. Sometimes we have sites that we're running campaigns, and yes, we'll fix fees or whatever it might be, and then the traffic changes, because the nature of SEO affiliation is the traffic comes and goes. So you'll have a great quarter, and then you have a shitty quarter, and they'll go back. Now, we could just say, sorry, we've got your money, F off. But we don't tend to do that. We run a campaign, and then the following quarter, we might just give the traffic for free or whatever it might be. But there's always that long-term feeling that we want to make sure that this is a long-term partnership and not just something that we're just taking the cash for and see you later. It is personal. And those sales guys in our team, they've got personal relationships. They've known each other for a long time. And that reputation takes a long time to fix if it goes well. So we're very cautious about that.
The other thing as well is what operators need to understand is that they need to have longevity, because salespeople move around. Like in our industry, it's incredibly incestuous. The same faces, different places. So you've got to have that community that supports when a person leaves. Because that's sometimes some of the biggest problems that I hear from affiliates is that I can't find the account manager that I need to deal with at this program or that program or whatever the case may be. And that's a dip in revenue for the affiliates.
Yeah. I think you're always going to get that, whether it's the operator or in our old industry, merchant, or the platform stroke network or the affiliate manager. It's not prison. People move around and they move between each other. So 1 minute you're an affiliate manager, next minute you're an affiliate, next minute you're working for affiliates or someone. Or anyone, wherever it might be. People move around, but your reputation follows you, right? So if you're somebody that promises and doesn't deliver, then it takes a long time to change that. There's people I can remember now that if I see, I think I remember you from 8 years ago when you were wasted in a party and causing trouble. It takes a long time. It takes a long time to lose that. But they could be very good at their job. This is the thing. I completely empathize. You can't just moan about affiliate managers, and you can't just moan about affiliates or anything else. Everyone's got a difficult job. We're all under competitive pressure. We've all got family or outside interests beating down on us, and whether it's just a bunch of humans. And the trick is to try and get along that everybody wins and meets their objectives, and it's not a zero-sum game. Because if you treat it like a zero-sum game, it becomes one, and therefore there's always a loser, and that's not really how affiliates should work.
So I want to dig into a little bit about how you're directing the ship at the moment at Game Lounge. And I know that you guys are actually feeding back a lot of information to operators that you work with in order to make those partnerships better. Can you talk us through some of the projects that you've instigated since you came into Game Lounge that are helping to actually improve the business revenues that you're generating as an affiliate for multiple different partners?
Yeah, lots of questions in there. If I think about what's happened in the 15, 16 months since I started here, it's a very noisy business. There's lots going on. There's a lot of people. Long story short, I've really narrowed it down. So I like working in our home zone. So I like it in our own market, doing our own thing and taking too many risks. And if anything looked like a bit too far out from our home zone, we just outsourced it or closed it. The second thing was to understand our data layer. We talk about being an affiliate, but what does that really mean? You can say we're a media business, or you can say we're an advertising company, or you can say we're a publisher, but actually we got a shit ton of data. We're just a massive data business, and that has not been a priority. So when I did the audit on the data, what we have, and just went around looking at the assets, it's unbelievable how much information we've got. We're an affiliate. We own that data. It's first-party data. We have the clicks from it's a B2C business that then we hand the B2B on. It's not like anything else which would be B2B because where I used to be. But it's so patchy. So if we work with one particular network provider or platform, they're very advanced. And you and I have a mutual friend that gets this. So we know that there's a benchmark out there, and we're saying to everybody, look, there's 2 or 3 of these people out there. They're working for affiliates first before they work for operators or work for and that works for us because it means we can feed back data back into the system to show the benchmarking and show you whether or not you're good or not. I get calls privately from CMOs and directors of operators saying, Richard, how are we doing? Can you give me any more information? What's XYZ doing over here? And I'll never tell them because obviously that's silly. But what I can give them is an industry benchmark. And so actually you're indexing on your click to registration or you're not in, we can show the stage. We see so much in so many markets, we can actually provide those benchmarks pretty well. And that's really why we kicked off this Trust and Data Transparency Index project barometer, where our tech team is looking at all these platforms and evaluating them under 200 different criteria and releasing it quarter by quarter. So I think we've done 7 or 8 now of the middleware affiliate networks platforms, and we are ranking them on the ability to do real time and ability to share GGR top line data just to help us to help them. And that's been unbelievably successful because we couldn't get a meeting with a lot of these people for a long time. Because they're like, look, we're good because all our operators like us. But they might like you, but we don't. And we're not putting up with monthly Excel batch manual uploads. That's just not the way we're going to play this. Yes. And we started to give notice to people to say, look, you're on here, but we're not going to work with this very long. So unless they change, you're going to have to shift. So we're giving you 9 to 12 months notice. I had a lunch yesterday with it's obviously a podcast, but I had a lunch yesterday with a fellow affiliate CEO. I explained this to him and they're so on board. They're going to join. And we're going to have an army of people on the affiliate side saying, look, this is what best practice looks like. This is what real-time data really means. This is the value and the value proposition of it. And this is why it can help you. So you need to either move or get your network partner to move on your behalf.
Yeah.
Because the industry can only move as fast as slowest components. And we are moving into this world of AI, LLMs and everything else, where not just affiliates are a threat, operators are a threat. Everybody's under threat. Unless you're playing the game or building the games, everything in the middle is going to be under threat, including the games. Actually, it's probably just the money.
Yeah. And there's a finite source of traffic. Ultimately, there is a finite source of traffic, and affiliates want to make the most money for the traffic that they're working hard to get. Operators want to pay the least amount of money and have the best CPAs. And the data is the thing that's going to help you to have those conversations on both sides. So it does make sense that the industry is moving to a more demand-driven aspect in terms of the data that they're willing to share between each other. Whereas for years prior to this, nobody's ever shared anything with anybody. But we can't carry on that way because...
No. And the thing is, not everybody's like that. And there are a few people we speak to now, and I'm speaking to more and more people who think transparency is the way forward. It's not transparency to catch anyone out. It's transparency to learn more and to be more intelligent.
To do better.
And also just to keep everybody safe, because we're in an industry that's got a pretty bad reputation for causing harm.
Yeah.
And again, the more information we can get on that, we can identify patterns of behavior that would indicate, number one, whether this person is a potentially good VIP player that we can invest in, or number two, has gone too far and they've got a bit of an issue and there's a problem brewing. And we can't really do that unless we get the information. And yes, okay, maybe you're cutting into revenues because you're stopping playing with the person that would be playing normally, but that's not the point. That's a very short-term way of thinking, and it's also not very good for the industry.
Yeah. So I want to move on to another point because, okay, we've spoken about transparency, we've spoken about building trust, we've spoken about data and the importance of data. But how do you motivate people to motivate other people? This is something that you're very passionate about.
Yeah.
And affiliate managers need to know how to motivate affiliates. So can you give us some tips on that?
Yes. If I think about it, how do I do it? Part of it is instinctive. I don't know how I do so sometimes. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You can't just read a manual, so I'm going to get my team to do what I want. It's about listening. It's about understanding. I take a lot of time to try and get to know my team. It's difficult with 150, 60 people and there's insurance and everyone's remote. Also, 2/3 of people are remote. So it's difficult to get to know people and understand what their kind of superpower is. But I always try and understand what they like. And we also do quite a lot of psychometric testing on the way in. So we have a feeling for the kind of non-verbal cues that they have. We've also got lots of different nationalities. So the Swedes and the Portuguese and English, and there's then 2 Brits. There's a mixture of everybody. But most people like positive reinforcement. Most people like being told, well done, thank you. And it goes a long way to pushing that all the way through. Now, we don't get it always right, but we really do take a lot of notice of our ENPS. We do ask people, would you recommend Game Labs as an employer? We take a huge amount of value from the answers we get. It goes up and down. We had this time last year, we were on 20. This year, we just got to 31, which is great. But then in the winter, because we had a bit of a wobble on pay rises, it went right down to 11. And we was like, okay, yeah, we hear you. And then I think at Christmas, it was 50. So we care about that. Right? So we're listening. And how do we get people to motivate? We do a lot of work on training and we try and just explain what we're doing, because it's a very difficult place at the bottom of a company when you're starting and you're finding your way and not quite sure what you want to do with your life. The competitors that we have to those people are not necessarily other companies like ours. It's just experiences like travel or family or taking a career out, going back to university. So we have to understand and empathize what that means, because those guys are the future of everything. And then higher up the business, you've got different competing pressures. You've got family, you've got animals, people have got pets at home. There's all sorts of things like that. And then as you get older, you've got people approaching retirement of all places and things, because the digital natives that I started with are now coming to the end of their careers. So there's a whole range of people going through this.
And it's understanding that life cycle of where the person is at, and then adjusting your needs, wants, communication to fulfill those needs for them. Because I know the other thing that you guys do quite well is you've got a 4-day working week during the summer, which is just phenomenal. That's a small thing, but it makes a huge difference into like parents' lives, for example, if people have got children. Making a rule not to contact an affiliate on a Friday at 6 p.m. Something like that could be quite helpful.
That's a really good question and a good point, because the 4-day work week, and this is a real kind of open, honest thing. Previously, a company called Awin in the UK, they switched to 4. I think what it was, there was at the beginning of, was it lockdown or after lockdown, there was this thing called the Great Resignation, which actually didn't turn out to be a thing, but it was what everyone was talking about, and everybody was worried that they were going to lose their best people. I don't know. I spoke to Adam Moss, about the CEO, about it, And I was laughing. I was saying, what the hell are you doing? It's a big risk just to do that every day.
Yeah.
But I thought at the time, if you do it all the time, every week, 12 months a year, then you lose the benefit of it.
Yeah.
It just becomes a 4-day thing and you're always having to work. So I didn't really understand it. But then when I came to Game Lounge, we have a lot of Scandinavian staff who take long holidays in the summer.
Yeah.
We already had a half day, July and August, day off, but people were coming in. But then who works between 9 and 12 on a Friday? Nobody. So in terms of productivity, it was just like, what's the point? So I had a few conversations around the place and said, look, can I explain to you what this means? And it's basically the same salary, the same work output, but you've only got 4 days to do it in. So that's another way of looking at it. Basically saying, giving you less time to do your job. So it's almost like a negative. But of course, everyone goes, yeah, you got Fridays off, hooray, hooray. And people do love it. I love it. That photograph I took was in this lovely bay in Malta, and that was a Friday, 11 o'clock. And then when we did the data, it's very strong. I just said, how many days off have we got? What's happening with sick pay?
Yeah.
It's gone right down, really down. Because people are not having to do everything on a Saturday and Sunday. They can spend another day doing their own personal things that they may have had to take a day off for.
But that's the thing. The motivation doesn't always have to be money.
No, exactly. It's competing experiences. And we encourage internally to share what they do on a Friday. Not that we have to know what they're doing, but it's just, if you're having a nice time, can you just share a photo? Some people are just lying in bed, which they're allowed to do. Some people are doing the fitness training courses, which is fantastic. Somebody else did some pottery. I'm on the boat. I went to Wimbledon semi-finals. This week, we're going to go to Antique Fairs in Bath. You're avoiding the crowds. It's just a nice thing to do. But we are very hot on the productivity and output, so that we still maintain that everybody has to do their work in 4 days. They can't just take 20% off their productivity output. And as a result, when we go back in September, the business is already 15% more productive, which then goes into 5 days when we get back.
That's a big number.
It's a really big number. And year on year, it went up by 10% in terms of the drop, because we know that in August and July, output stops because everyone just calms down a bit. And even now, everyone's disappeared like that. But the change this year has been 10% better than it was last year. And then when you come back in September or you come back in May, the business is more productive. And it's just been almost like a magic trick to become much more efficient. So we've got our profit per employee was 8,000 when I started. It's now over 17,000 a month. And we doubled the productivity per person. Now, okay, maybe we got rid of some things that weren't making so much money, but it's not all to do with that. And it's to do with the fact that people are pretty engaged and they like it and they're telling their friends. And we have a huge queue of people wanting to work for us. And I can't remember the exact number, but we've gone from 200 per applications per job hiring to 390 or maybe 400. So we've got such a big queue of people wanting to work for us, which in itself is saved a fortune.
So I just want to use that, because if you're an affiliate manager listening to this, imagine if you could have 200 affiliates applying to your program every day and you had to choose the top 5. You don't have to be working with every single affiliate, but what you do need to be doing is building a really successful partnership with the ones who are invested in your business and try to grow those relationships first. We always look at the sexiness of go out and get new, find that next new traffic source, find that next new partner that's working with your competitor and isn't working with you. But we forget about the actual incrementals. If you think about what you've just said about your employees, imagine if you increase the output of every affiliate that you worked with by double. Your program is growing a lot faster.
Definitely that. But I agree with you. That's definitely a possibility. But don't forget, again, going back to the web games days and the e-commerce days, a lot of our programs had hundreds and not thousands of affiliate relationships. Yeah. And there was an argument to say you've got to chop off the tail and get rid of them and everything else. But actually, if you add up the 1 or 2 sales that you get from all that long tail, it becomes significant. And that's why we did a lot of work then on the platform and making sure AI was there to help you match the right people with the right places. And we're going to try and do the same thing again, Grant. We want to use that technology and understanding that we can build relationships, even anonymized relationships with players and potential players, to say that we can see somebody coming in, we trust them, they trust us. We're going to be very careful who we're going to promote to them. But whoever it is, they're going to make a lot of money out of it. And similarly, if we think somebody's just a deal whore and they're coming in on the bonuses and nothing else, then you pay a lower fee from that. You just don't pay as much money. So that's that kind of floating programmatic approach to things being driven on real-time data is really where the industry has got to go. There's no other alternative, because otherwise it's just, you can guarantee that's going to be found out through AI. But of course, it comes down to transparency of data. If you have opaque data, then you can't make these decisions and there's no intelligence.
All right. So we're going to round up this podcast now, because I've asked you about all your favorite things, your boat, your marriage, motivating people. And all of those things have led to really good points about how to build successful partnerships. Looking ahead, what do you think are 3 tips that you can leave our listeners with if they are trying to build successful partnerships with affiliates? What are the 3 things that they need to focus on in the next month?
From an affiliate manager point of view, know your numbers. Know your numbers really well. Like why, not just what they are, but why they are. The why of your numbers is so important, because everyone says, well, I've got my ROI of this or my CTR of that. Unless you know why, it's like a dead number. So I would recommend that. 2, long-term patience, because nothing happens overnight in this world. It takes a long time to build a brand. It takes very quick to lose a brand. The relationships can be won and lost, but just patience and just building trust. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but really we are all in this together. It's a great industry. People are very friendly and they're very progressive, and you've got some very intelligent people here. It's a very inspiring and interesting place to be, whether you're in Dubai or in Yerevan or in Malta or Cyprus or London or where it might be. There's still a community of really smart people. And then the third thing, just sometimes live in the second horizon, just see what's coming down the tracks. Because today's business is going to be very different than tomorrow's business. We can see it with the new LLMs and agentic. We're experimenting with building armies of synthetic players. That's what we're going to do to drive our own planet data, that we can then push into that stuff. The agentic world and the promise of chatbots, but chatbots is the first thing people do and they get disappointed. If you're actually creating your troop of testers or players or whatever it might be, you can do that on a massive level. And the third thing is just keep an eye on the future, which is personally think.
It is. And I love that. All right. Thank you for being on this podcast again and giving us such good information and background history on how to build successful partnerships. It's been a pleasure, as always, to have you here. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the next conference that you go to. So keep me in tune.
Yeah. I'll be in SBC in Lisbon.
Okay. You can all mob him there in Lisbon then. Richard, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ian. Lovely. Thank you.
Thanks again to our sponsor, Mate Affiliates. If you're sending traffic, there's really only one question. Does it convert? Mate delivers industry-proven brands that come backed with lightning-fast platforms, great CRMs, and some serious player retention. That means more value from every click. Find them at mateaffiliates.com. Looking to level up your affiliate program management skills? Join the Affiliate Manager Performance Program, or AMP as we call it, a 12-week mastermind for affiliate program managers. Whether you're a new affiliate account executive just joining the industry or an affiliate manager, the AMP Mastermind offers 12 weeks of insightful video tips, tactics, and strategies designed to help you elevate your affiliate program growth. From optimizing your outbound affiliate recruitment and program management tactics that have supported million-dollar programs to scale, you'll get inside access to resources, tools, tips, and cheat sheets that will help your affiliate program scale. Access on-demand tutorials each week, coupled with regular virtual Ask Me Anything sessions and a host of other practical resources. You'll fast-track your skills and learn with peers what works in affiliate program management and how to practically apply that to your program or industry. Head on over to affiversemedia.com/AMPP to join our AMP cohort today.